As always, our trip begins in the airport and Gracie is ready to go. She's so very well trained from doing so much traveling with us. Notice this little boy on the right. He notices her right away, as do most children. We often get asked if they can pet Gracie. Here we are on the plane, and you're seeing Mount Rainier in Washington. Anacortes was founded in 1879. It's located on the east side of Fidalgo Island, surrounded by waters in the Fidalgo Bay and Güemes Channel. It's 96 miles north of Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Most often, Anacortes is viewed as the stop at the end of the road to park and board the ferry to go on into the San Juan Islands. But it's so much more. Being that it's the gateway to the San Juan Islands, a lot of tourists come through here year-round, but especially in the summer months. We happen to be here in the winter this time with limited time, so we are covering everything you need to know about things to do for one day in Anacortes. We've shortened the drive for you, and lucky for you, we've arrived. Anacortes visitors will be charmed by the historic, vibrant downtown area. If you look carefully, there's a bit of an old sea captain's vibe about town. There are quaint shops where you can find antiques, books, art, jewelry, and restaurants. Artistic life-size paintings can be found on various buildings thanks to the mural project, which represents over a decade of an artistic touch by Bill Mitchell. In fact, you'll find beautiful art pieces all over town in unexpected places. This building houses one of our favorite restaurants called Ghirardelli's. We stop here for lunch often. Ghirardelli's is in a 1920s bank with old-fashioned signs and high ceilings. They have breakfast items and serve lunch with an array of soup, salads, and deli sandwiches. Sometimes there's a wait. Lunch can be very crowded, but it is oh so worth it. They also make homemade desserts. We've only been able to try the brownies so far, but they were delicious. My husband Paul said they were the best brownies he'd ever had. You may wonder why we came to Anacortes during the winter, which is such a slow time for this Washington area. And this is the reason. We have a boat up there. And because it's a slow time of the year, we had it in dry storage, which is also called on the hard, and we had some work done to it to get it ready for the summer. To show you some sights in Anacortes. Gracie and I are on our way.
It's cold, huh? It's very cold this morning. Do you like the boats? Let's go, it's getting cold.
And we're making our way, you see it there in the distance, to the Seafarers Memorial. The memorial was established to recognize those who've lost their lives while in pursuit of their livelihood. The memorial names those who died in that way. On December 17, 2006, Marjorie Klingman wrote a letter to family and friends describing the loss of 4 family members who fished in the Alaskan Gulf. In particular detail is the loss of her brother Raymond. As a result of that loss, a Seafarers Memorial was erected, listing many who were lost at sea. One such story happened on October 26 of 1970. Paul Richard Knowles of Anacortes was skipper of a 50-foot crab boat, the Sea Mill, that went missing in heavy seas near Kodiak, Alaska. Sea Mill had radioed that her radar and depth finder were not working and she was unsure of her position. Eventually, the search was called off. Paul Knowles is among those honored on the monument at Seafarers Park.
Come on, Gracie, let's walk along the water.
Here you're viewing Cap Sandy Marina. And I want to take you to the monument you see in the distance, the Lady of the Sea, who is next to the Seafarers Memorial. The Lady of the Sea stands watch, awaiting with her little boy the return of her husband from the sea, all the while holding out a lantern to light the way for those that work and, like ourselves, play in the sea. Our next stop is the Washington State Ferry, which travels from Anacortes to Lopez, Shaw, Orcas Islands, and Friday Harbor on the San Juan Island, and even into Canada. If you have enough time and plan it right, you could easily travel to Guemes Island on the Guemes Island Ferry, which is a 5 to 7 minute one-way trip, Lopez Island in about 30 minutes, and to Friday Harbor in about an hour one way. Although the ferry is a very safe people and auto mover, it isn't always on schedule, so make sure you have enough time for a round trip. And by the way, dogs are welcome too. Here Gracie was leading the way and I thought she was going to get in trouble. So I tried to get her to come back, but she didn't want to come. I thought you might enjoy seeing all the cars come off the ferry. I'll fast forward on this part so you can see it, but it doesn't take so much time. So here's everyone getting off the ferry, and Gracie and I are patiently awaiting the arrival of Paul. And here he is. Gracie was excited to see him. We both were. We wanted to go on our next excursion all together. This is Anacortes Washington Park. It expands across 228 acres for walking, biking, or driving, allowing you to get out and stretch a bit. If you love nature, it's a must-stop, and it's also popular for bird watching. A tree-lined loop for a walk or a drive winds through the park with amazing water views and beaches. If time permits, try to catch a sunset here, which is a memory you won't soon forget. Anacortes has almost 2,800 acres of forest lands with 50 miles of multiple-use trails. Extensive woodlands, marshlands filled with birdsong, and breathtaking seascape and island views. Anacortes forest lands include Whistle Lake, Cranberry Lake, Hart Lake, and Washington Park. Of course, we're not taking you through the entire park. There's so much more to it. And the view from the top is breathtaking.
You see any seals out there? You see some seals? Yeah.
Now we're driving to the Ship Harbor Inn, which is where we stay when we're not on our boat. It's very near the ferry terminal, within walking distance, and it has fabulous views. They have a nice piece of land here. It's tucked away in the trees, away from the noises of town. They accept dogs as well. That's one reason I'm highlighting it. Okay, last stop. Look off in the distance. What does that look like to you? A shipwreck, perhaps? We'll see. This attraction, which is historic, gave me chill bumps.